Feeling stuck on different values me, 27F, and my BF, 27M have. My BF, 27M, and I 27F have different life views. For instance, there are two things that we always can't come to an agreement on. The first is vaccines. I am a scientist who works with vaccines. I believe in science and research, but he thinks vaccines are poison and aren't needed. We've been together for 2 years now, and the conversation of marriage and kids have come up. He says when we have kids, he would prefer for them to be homeschooled. I've told him I am open to the idea, but only if a qualified educator takes control. I do not have a degree in early childhood development or teaching, so if I would be the best fit. But he insists on me staying home and teaching the kids. I want to grow in my career. I've also said I would happily stay with the kids at home for a couple of years and put my career on hold, but after I would like to still continue. He gets upset at the thought of that and says that I value my career over a family. I love him, and outside of those things we get along and have an overall good relationship. What advice do you guys give me? You are obviously incompatible. The only real advice is to stop wasting both of your times and end it with him. Girl, I'd be running so fast. These are major incompatibilities. Also notice how his goals all involve restricting, controlling, or changing you in some way. What about him? Why doesn't he stay home and teach? Why shouldn't he be the one to give up his career if he's so set on homeschooling? Are you out of your mind? He thinks your education and career are dealing in poison. He has no science critical thinking, and you are a scientist. It's like a firefighter marrying an arsonist. He disapproves of a fundamental part of who you are as a person. He doesn't value you having a career. This should have ended long ago, to be honest. I am a scientist who works with vaccines. I believe in science and research, but he thinks vaccines are poison and aren't needed. So he's a low self-esteem, empty shell of a man who needs to cling to the lie that his ignorance is as valuable as your information. And you're thinking of validating his viewpoint by reproducing with it. I'm always a bit wary of these men who want their girlfriends/fiancés/wives to stay home when they have clearly said they want to have careers. If it was just about having a parent at home, he could volunteer to do it. Why does it have to be you? Or, he could find a partner who is eager to stay home. But since that doesn't sound like what you want out of life, I would break up with him. You're not compatible. Break up. Your long-term goals do not align, and that makes you incompatible. If you try to make it work, one of you, probably you, will have to compromise your values and will probably resent the other. There will be a lot of push and pull, and it will be hard for you both to be happy. Premature ejaculation? F22, M25. My boyfriend of over a year has premature ejaculation issues. We tried the SSRIs, they helped but made him feel sick. And the numbing cream. It helped, but he didn't like that it reduced the sensation, so he won't be using them again. I suppose I don't mind so much right now because my libido is down and I've just been prescribed a low dose of sertraline, an antidepressant. But I really dislike having not such a high sex drive, as I usually have a really high one. This is my first boyfriend, and occasionally we have good sex, but that's not been for a few months. I feel like I'm not having the sex life I had imagined. It's not like I want him to change. And I know he's insecure about his premature ejaculation. I just ultimately feel bored and uninspired by my sex life. I love him very much. I just want to have better sex. How can I? Maybe get him to use toys beforehand. Want a pro tip? Have him get off an hour to several hours or so before y'all do anything. It'll take him a lot longer to reach the end goal this way. There might be some hiccups, but go twice. Ask him to rely more on non-penetrative ways more, if that works for you. So the numbing cream, it's supposed to reduce sensation, so they won't come as fast. That's the whole point. What about condoms? Tell him to get down there and start slurping. It's literally a free 3 orgasms for your girl, then you don't have to worry about nut time as much. Are you using condoms? If not, start. How is a question like, are you having an affair? Typically perceived. 49F/59M, 20 plus years. I'm trying to reality check something because my partner 59M and I 49F are not on the same page at all. We're in a more than 20-year relationship. Recently, my partner asked a lot of weird questions about people I talk about at my gym. Are they married? Have I met their spouse? I do not hang out with these people. I do not call these people. We are not friends outside of the gym. I told him this is making me uncomfortable because it sounds like you're accusing me of having an affair. He said he would never do that. I said, but you did it once before. We came home from vacation. After I had already unpacked the bags, I realized Edie could catch an evening class. Everybody else was tired, so I said, well, I guess I'll go get a class in at my gym. To which he said, are you having an affair with someone at the gym? I said, no, I just spent 3.5 hours in a car, and I have a lot of energy. I'm ADHD and exercise to relax. He told me that asking if I was cheating was not an accusation. It was just a question people ask when a marriage isn't the way they want it to be. I responded that it absolutely felt like an accusation, especially given the context. There was no specific behavior that prompted it. Plus, I had never asked him that question despite being unhappy in the relationship. He has a history of making passive, suspicious comments framed as questions. I suggested asking Reddit for an outside opinion, and he immediately said Reddit couldn't judge because Reddit doesn't know what was in my mind. But here I am anyway. My question, in a long-term relationship, how is a question like, are you having an affair, typically perceived? Tell him, according to people on Reddit, it sounds like projection, so how long have you been having an affair for, and was it just the one? If he has a problem with the question, you can point out that asking if he was cheating was not an accusation. It was just a question people ask when a marriage isn't the way they want it to be. Ask him, are you having an affair? As an accusation. In my experience, a man who regularly asks if you are having an affair when you are absolutely not is usually the one having an affair. He is likely projecting his guilt onto you. I would be offended, but also, my wife is not a jealous person at all, so I'd be reflecting a lot about what I'd done that would even make her think that. I love how causally you mention you're unhappy in your relationship. And going off to the gym immediately after returning home from a vacation when you have a family is weird immo. Unless of course you're using the gym as an escape from your family, which sounds like you are. So perhaps that's really your husband's issue? Not saying he should be defaulting to accusations of infidelity, because that's also an asshole move and not normal, but neither is your coping mechanism. You guys both have problems, and you should work on it, or you should split. Your kids will thank you. Seems like you're both unhappy in your relationship. Maybe some counseling would help. My 23F boyfriend, 23M, physically restrained me. This is all still pretty fresh, so pardon my choppy tone or wording. My 23F boyfriend of the same age, and I had a gigantic fight a few days ago. It went on for hours, and when it began I shut down and went numb and silent, which gets him riled up. I know this, but I have a history of trauma, and it is hard for me to respond in situations like that, so I was a little mute and just not reactive to anything. He tried to get me to say something, anything, by being mean. I sensed things were going downhill and tried to gather my things to leave. I was wearing no pants, and he took my clothes from me. After I yanked my pants out of his hands, he took my coat. It was 2 degrees outside. After wrestling him for my things literally, he blocked my way multiple times. He is 6 feet 1 inch and I am 5 feet 7 inches, and he is a lot stronger than me. I tried to shove past him, and he overpowered me. I tried to call an Uber, and he wrested my phone out of my hand. This was so out of character for us, and the fight just escalated so bad, and I don't know what to do. I have a history of being abused, and the physical restraint really panicked me after 45 minutes of not being allowed to leave, and I told him if he didn't let me go I was going to hit him. He said to do it, and I just ended up shoving him, and I did try to wrestle/claw at him to get my things back, so I could call a car for myself. He left multiple bruises on me, but when I told him this he said he had marks on his arms too, but I only responded to being held down physically and having my phone wrestled from me. He wasn't hitting me, but I was flailing and screaming while he held me in place, and I definitely hit him in an attempt to break free. I feel like shit. I never wanted to be like the people who hurt me, but I got so fucking scared being held captive, and I realized I was so powerless and weak, and I wanted to badly to prove I could handle myself, I guess. I feel awful for responding to his restraint with violence. I feel like I escalated the situation, and that's why it just got worse from there. He threatened to drown my phone in the sink eventually, and it only stopped when I just went silent again and let him have his words for me. I don't know what to do. Is it normal to try and use some form of physical intervention when someone is restraining you or imprisoning you? I don't want to be the person I have feared for the majority of my life, and I guess I'm unsure if resorting to physicality in the interest of escape is abusive behavior, and I should also take some culpability in the situation. I just wanted to leave. If we are both guilty, is this reason to try and give grace? I really do believe this was a horrible night, and we both crashed so hard and acted so much outside of character. But I have always told myself if someone hits me then I have to leave. He didn't hit me though. He didn't have to. He just had to hold me down and keep my means of communication from me. Too long did not read. My boyfriend and I had a giant fight where he would not let me leave for over an hour. I continued to try and leave. I escalated the situation by yelling and trying to wrestle my phone from him. If we are both guilty, is it sensible to try and give him more grace and move past this? Abusers love to manipulate their victims into lashing out. This is an abusive relationship. There is no going back. End it now. No one should ever be blocked from leaving. He caused this. I'm concerned that this relationship will get more physically abusive if you stay in it. Preventing you from leaving is technically kidnapping. Stealing your stuff is theft. He's dangerous, get out. You need to call the police and file assault and unlawful restraint charges. He has no right to hold you down, take your phone, or keep you from leaving. Please call your local domestic violence center for support, counseling, and legal help. Your boyfriend is an abuser, and this treatment not only does not stop, it ejaculates. You deserve better than this. He knows. He doesn't care. Leave now. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. That grabbing and dragging will turn to hitting, and hitting will turn to punching and kicking and throwing and breaking and choking, and eventually he may kill you. You may think that sounds impossible or extreme, but every woman sleeping in a DV shelter tonight thought the same thing at one point. Oh honey, you need to leave. Holding you down was abuse. He liked that you were powerless even though you did everything you could physically do. When someone is physically assaulting you, you get to defend yourself. It's called self-preservation, and it doesn't make you just as bad as B is. He illegally took your means of escape and would not let you leave, false imprisonment. The phone thing is also illegal if it's needed to call for help.